back then with another Endgame build guide video for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Today we'll look at the latest addition to the roster, Deadpool, a character that surprisingly is not that OP given how popular Deadpool is and the fact he's a DLC character. I had a suspicion that we're going to make him really strong, and he's actually not OP at all. I would say he's probably a mid-tier hero. Now, despite all that, I am still able to do ultimate free gameplay, which is the hardest difficulty that is available in the game with him. So in this video, we're going to break down how we actually do that. We'll start off, we'll look at the 10 cards that are available for him. I'll cover all the available mods, and I'll tell you the ones that I recommend that you aim for. I'll then show off the specific deck that I'm using on him, and then at the end of the video, what we'll do is we'll show off some ultimate free gameplay, and we get through it relatively easy. We don't smash through it the likes of the way Iron Man would do, but we do still manage to get through it. Now, before we dive in and start breaking it down, if the video is helpful, please do take the time to hit the like, share and subscribe button. And with that out of the way, let's dive in and let's start off, as mentioned, by looking at the 10 different cards for him and all of the available mods. So Deadpool then, as mentioned a moment ago, I would say is unfortunately a mid-tier hero. Now, a lot of that comes down to the fact that these cards have got certain modifiers on them that then mean that certain mods aren't available in that specific card. Generally, your quick style card will have an absolute ton of mods available on it, normally double of what you actually see on screen. However, because this card can chain, what that does is it takes away a ton of the mod pool. Some really nice mods, such as like when you defeat an enemy, you'll draw 2 cards and so on, something that Deadpool is really missing. So his quick card isn't as good as some other heroes' quick cards, and the mods available aren't as good either. If I was to use this particular card and go for a mod on it, he can be a little bit hungry in regards to the amount of heroism he actually consumes and generates. So for that reason, I would probably go for 1 additional heroism for each KO. If you struggle to get that, then just the flat additional 1 heroism can be nice for this card. This next card we have here is a really nice one, and the way it's set up, it's got a ton of great mods available on it. The particular mod that I would go for is quick, so we're essentially turning it into a quick card. The difference is that your quick cards normally have quite low base damage. I think the card we looked at a moment ago was around about 60 damage. This one does 252 damage, which is absolutely amazing. It's not generating any heroism when you first start using it, but once you build up your stacks of Fuego, you can have 5 of them. You could generate up to an additional 5 heroism, which is really pretty amazing. The next card we have here is overpowered. You can see it's really low base damage in this particular one. It does have forceful knockback, which can be useful, and your stacks of Fuego, they'll put the damage up by 63. I think it's around about 50% of his actual base damage, and it will generate 1 heroism. Personally, I don't use this particular card. I much prefer the one we looked at before, and you can only have so many attack cards in your kit. It's only 4 in total you can have. If you were to use this, then you would go for the quick mod, but once again, I wouldn't use this particular card. We then have Death from Above, very similar to the last card. In regards to the mod you can get on it, you can see you can get quick, so once again you're going to want to go for quick on this. The reason you go for quick on so many Deadpool cards is because you want to get as many kills with them as you can without it costing your card, so that way you can build up the Fuego and then you get a lot of bonuses on the back of it. So this one, the base damage isn't particularly high per stack of Fuego. It doesn't go up a great deal either, so this is another card that I wouldn't actually recommend. The final attack card we have here is Spread the Love. This particular one, low base damage, but it's not really a problem because we're not really using it too much for the damage. We're using it as a status applicator. So with this one here, initially you'll chain just 1 time, but as you build up your chains, you could get up to a maximum of 6 different chains you could do with this. You want to add mark to this. So for the first instance, what you could do is you can mark 6 different enemies. Or, and this is really important, I discussed this in my Iron Man video, the way marked actually worked on chain is, let's say for example you have 1 single enemy. The first time you hit that enemy with the first chain, it will apply marked straight away. If you then use a second chain on that same enemy and you defeat them, you'll get your card play back because you applied mark to them in the first instance. The likes of Weak, Bleed and Vulnerable do not work this way. They don't apply it until the end of the chain, whereas marked applies at the start of the chain, and I hope that made sense there. So this card is nice. I do use this particular card, and once again I have the marked mod on it. The next card we have here, it would have the potential to be absolutely amazing if it didn't draw a card. And the reason for that is any skill cards that can draw a card cannot get free on them. If you could get free on this particular card and it allowed the next two ally ability KOs to count towards Enfuego, it would be incredible. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way and the mod pool's really pretty limited. So in regards to the mod I would use on them, if I was to use this particular card, I would most likely go for the 2 heroism to bump it up to +4 heroism in total, and you're drawing a few cards as well. Or if your Enfuego's boosted up, you would draw up to 6 cards, which can be pretty crazy. So this next card here is actually really pretty important, because when Deadpool gets hit, he will lose a stack of Enfuego, so it can take a ton of time to actually build them up the way that the system works for it, and it's very easy to actually lose them. So this card can be really important. You only really want to use it after you've built up your stacks. In regards to the mod, you can see I've got 3 on it. That is the specific mod that I would say you want to go for. So with this card anyway, you're gaining 1 resist and you taunt an enemy, and once again, if you actually had maxed out Enfuego with this, you would get 6 resist, which is absolutely huge. Moving on to the heroic cards here, we have Magdump. This particular one can hit really pretty hard. In regards to Enfuego on this, it will reduce the heroism cost by 1. So if you've got maxed out Enfuego, then it wouldn't cost you any heroism to use this particular card. Once again, in regards to the mods you can get on it, because you want to use as many cards as quickly as you can without it costing a card play on Deadpool to build up his resource, you want to go for quick on this particular card. We then have Pain Pinata, a card that I can't recommend due to the exceptionally low base damage on it. It's only 50% of his actual damage, which is just incredibly low. So this one, you damage each enemy in an area. You can get an absolutely huge area. If you check out my Twitter, which is at TonyBingGaming, I posted a picture early on with this fully boosted and also with the moderate increase to AoE mod on it, and it near enough took up the whole screen, which was pretty cool to see, but the damage numbers they done on it were just far too low. So if you were to use this card, which I don't recommend, I would probably look to boost the damage more than anything else. So you can see up the top there, you've got an additional 50% offense you can get with it. The final card we have here, Burning Sensation, his legendary card. Again, I've got a picture on Twitter where I managed to boost the damage in this. It was a crit one, and I did have various buffs from Doctor Strange, but I managed to get the damage up to about 18,500, so feel free to check me out on Twitter if you want to see that screenshot there. I reckon with a few little tweaks to it, I could probably break 20,000, but it does take a long while to get there. You need your full 5 Enfuego stacks. But this particular card, in regards to mods you would use, I would go for the quick mod on it once again. So that is all the mods. Let me show you the specific deck that I'm actually using. So this is the deck that I'm running here, and I would say I've actually 100% finished this deck. Some of these videos I do, I'm still looking for certain mods, but I'm really happy with how this one turned out, despite the fact Deadpool does feel a little bit under-tuned. So we've got Quick Shot first, so I'm gaining additional heroism on that because he does need it. You've then got Spread the Love, so this one is applying 1 marked. We talked about why that's important just a few minutes ago. We've got Boom Headshot, I've got 2 versions of that, both of them have Quick on it, which is amazing. We've got All Together now. With this one I'm getting the additional 2 heroism. You can see it's +4 that it actually gives me. I'm not going to say the name of this one because the video will be demonetized, but you can see I've got 3 on that, so it's really nice to use when you just notice that maybe you built up several stacks of Enfuego and then there's a couple of enemies targeting you and you can't take them out. You can use this and then you get your resists. We've got Burning Sensation, that's got Quick on it, and then Magdump has got Quick on it as well. So all in, a pretty nice set of mods that we've got there. But let me now show off some Ultimate Free gameplay. So this gameplay here then, as mentioned, it is Ultimate Free gameplay. Now when I do a showcase such as this, I'm not trying to show off perfect gameplay to show how much of a big brain I actually am, because I'm not at all. What I'm trying to do is showcase this specific character, so whenever I get the choice to use their cards, even if it would make more sense to use another hero's cards, I'll genuinely try and use their cards so I can actually show them off. Now the setup that I'm running here that seems to work nice is Doctor Strange is fantastic. You always want him in your team almost no matter who you're actually running. So I've got Doctor Strange, we've got Deadpool, and then for your third character there's a few people you could drop in. Captain America could be nice because he could taunt and he can generate a ton of cards, but for this particular video I've dropped in Nico as well, so we're just trying to provide as much support as we possibly can for Deadpool. Now I'm not going to narrate this entire gameplay, it doesn't actually go on for too long, but I've just finished a 10-hour shift at work and I'm absolutely shattered, so I can't be bothered narrating the rest of this particular video. I will just say before I go away and let you enjoy this gameplay here is this particular series I stopped at about 3 or 4 characters in, just the reason being that there wasn't a lot of views or traffic or comments or anything like that on the previous videos, and I don't mind that too much, but overall if you release videos and they don't get a lot of traffic or engagement, it damages your channel and YouTube stops recommending your channel. So basically what I'm saying is, if you want to see the rest of the videos in that particular series and you enjoy this one, hit the like button, leave a comment, share the video, hit subscribe, do all that. I then get more views, which means I'm not getting punished for making these videos by YouTube, which gives me an incentive to go in and actually do them. So there we go, but enjoy this gameplay here. Any questions about Deadpool, let me know in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in, stay safe, and I'll see you all again soon.
Apparently our reputation isn't enough to scare off these so-called children of Lilith.
Stacking them deep today! It's about time! Mama said knock you out! Bad luck for you, friendo!
You'll only see this once.
Staff of One is in good hands.
Mojo Goose! With extreme prejudice. I choose you!
Hopefully they learned their lesson, but we all know that's wishful thinking.